Yes, those are for anybody. Oh, great. For $20, that's your extra bag. No, just kidding.
Yeah, any chair that you see available, please grab it, make yourself, there's some over here that you pull down
You are
to.
welcome to move those. I mean, you don't need to be sitting behind us. If you don't, I mean, you're welcome to move those. Yeah.
But then after that, that's all you can do. Where are the effing camp? They have t-shirts.
Where are you?
Yeah, no kidding. So he heard the word. I think his dad was the, oh, okay. Yeah, so that's how we ended up here. Yeah. Yeah. We had never planned that. Our first house.
Ding in the elevator.
And it was under well, these days, yeah. Yeah. Well, my daughter was up in Naperville, Ohio area, and they put in a house as soon as they see it's gone.
That's your peril, right?
Or it's bid over like that. Yeah. We don't have to talk. Share right there. You don't have to talk. That's good. Yeah. That was my first stop. My sure to see that I have to talk. Yes, yes. Say hello, my name is.
You got another 5 minutes for you guys start?
Yeah.
Jackie and this is
Turn the thing again. That, we can always cut off the power of the elevator.
oh yeah, well,
If they're still registering, this is the one instance where it's like an election, they're in line, right? No, I get it, I get it. At some point, you know, you kind of want to be ready to go, but to me, if they're still in line, they're still in line. Just tell them to agree. That's actually a thankless job, too. Verifying registration, that's not easy. I know I live there. No, you don't.
Put out a bunch of extras. They put out all the extras over here. Maxed out.
So we need this, all the chairs that we have are out.
stuff out. I usually do. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I love it.
I know I should know. Right.
How do you go when you walk right by?
Hi, I'll just do another announcement. If you're here and you're an electors, so you're registered to vote in the city of Bloomington, and you want to be able to make a motion or second a motion or vote this evening, you do have to check in at the table over there, and you'll need a pink numbered card in order to do that. Okay? Thanks.
It's right there. Since we're part of the budget, we'll have to
looks like that we have a roll at the table there. We'll give it just a minute and then we'll go ahead and get started. I will read a statement before we start. And so before we start the meeting, please note that this meeting is a special town meeting of the electors of City of Bloomington Township. Under Illinois law, anyone wishing to make motions and vote at a special town meeting must be a township elector. Elector is defined under the law as a person registered to vote within the township no less than 28 days before the date of the special town meeting. If you did not do so yet, please check in if you wish to participate as an elector, as we are distributing numbered index cards for you to show proof of elector status during any motion or vote. All right, seeing no activity. All right, it is 6:43 p.m. and I will go ahead and call the special town meeting of the town of the City of Bloomington to order. If everyone will please rise, we will say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the first order of business is the election of a moderator. Nominations for moderator are now open. If anyone would like to nominate someone as moderator for the meeting, please stand up and show your pink card.
I, Zachary Gitrich, make a motion to nominate Sonny Garcia.
And is that 6?
Yes.
All right, is there a second?
Right here.
To second the motion? Okay. Your second? Caleb, correct? Okay. All right, and we'll have a vote as for
Still have more nominations.
Yes.
take the nominations first.
Yes.
Oh, I apologize. Okay, are there other nominations? Yes.
I, Deborah Stillwell, nominate David Stanzik as moderator. My
And
card,
your number?
116.
All right, and
I'll
is there a
second that
second?
motion. Number 7, DeUrban. Thank you, David.
All right, are there other nominations?
I, Kevin Cunningham, nominate John Parrott.
John Barrett?
Parrott.
Parrott. And the number of your card, sir?
88.
And is there a second to that motion?
I second it.
Okay, and your number?
17.
Thank you. Are there any further nominations? Yes.
Hi, I'm Sybil Nash. I nominate Liz Hildebrandt, and I'm 78.
I apologize, but can you say that name one more time?
Liz Hildebrandt.
Second.
That's-
80.
You'd like to second it?
Yes, 80.
80. Okay. Are there any other nominations for moderator? All closed.
So, Madam Clerk, you'll-
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, and for those of you wondering, my name is John Redland Schaefer, the Township Attorney. Madam Clerk, what I would do is ask you to verify that all 4 of those nominated for moderator are indeed electors, and then we can proceed to the vote.
Okay, thank you. Give me 1 second, please.
probably use the cards too. Cards or hands, your choice on the vote. Probably cards would be best tonight, yeah.
All right, so we have 4 people who were successfully nominated to be moderator, and so we will take individual votes for each one. And let's see, so all those so let me explain something, sorry, first, just to make it clear for everyone. So you have your pink card and it is numbered. And so when we say for the remainder of the meeting, if you're gonna vote yes for something, then everyone will stand and you'll have your pink card. And as we call your number, you will sit down because I have to take note of each number, okay? And then we'll do the same for no votes and then tally them. So I appreciate your patience because we have a lot of people, but I want to make sure that we meet process and everybody's vote counts appropriately, okay? So we will start with Sunny Garcia,
I have a question real quick.
okay?
Is it by plurality or majority?
It's
Majority.
yeah, by majority. Thank you. All right, so what we'll do is we'll first do Sunny Garcia as moderator. So anyone who is in favor of Sunny, please go ahead and stand up. And let me read for you also. You have Sunny Garcia, David Stanzik, John Parrott, and Liz Hillebrook. Okay?
How many moderators are we voting for?
There's only going to be one moderator this evening.
And Madam
So-
Clerk, let me interject, I apologize. It's whomever receives the most votes. Everybody has different, definitions of plurality and majority. It's whomever receives the most votes.
You can vote once. Yeah, I was, yes.
Yeah, and we'd like you to vote one time.
How do you make sure?
Well, we are going to get the
That's why we're
numbers.
taking
You're going to
the
take the numbers down. So, all right. So I'll repeat the candidates again. Sunny Garcia, David Stanzik, John Parrott, and Liz Hildebrand. All right. So right now we are voting for Sunny Garcia. All right. We're going to start on the left side of the room. Zach, I believe yours is it 9?
6.
6. Sorry.
No. Actually, I think Zach, you're 9. He's 9. Sorry.
I should have put a number in.
I know, I just.
Sorry, we did our best to put this together how we could, so, all right. That is 9. And I'll correct that on the motion.
Still counts.
All right, thank you.
Maybe just
All
say
right.
their names and say their name and number.
That'd be fine. I can look up the numbers later, so. All right, 31. Thank you.
2.
2. Got it.
27,
27.
13.
Thank you.
10.
10.
8.
8. Yeah, and as you say it, if you'll just say that would be great. 5. Thank you.
39.
39.
18.
18.
19,
19.
96,
96.
62.
62.
15.
15.
21,
21.
35.
35.
25,
25.
63,
63. Caleb. 112. Starting this corner back there.
22,
22.
109.
109.
29,
29.
30.
30.
3.
3.
85,
85.
who's a gentleman?
I'll come back to you. 89.
83.
83. Over here. Anyone I'm missing? Okay. All right. If I could have anybody that wanted to vote against Sunny Garcia as moderator, please stand.
Against?
So you wanted to do this. Thank you. Good. That sounds like a great idea. I was like, this is going to be all night. All right. I was like, oh, we're going to be here. Okay. Thank you. Next up, we have David Stanzik. So we'll do yes votes for David. David, would you like to vote for yourself? All right. And your number?
84.
84.
115,
115.
116.
116, I'm going to jump to the front.
26.
Sorry, I'm going to jump right there. 94.
95,
95.
71,
71.
70,
70.
65,
65.
57,
57.
56,
56. And come to the front corner. There, everybody next. Okay, 91. 90. 99. 101.
92.
92.
66,
66. 67.
64,
64.
110,
110.
104,
104.
102,
102.
111,
111. Go, keep going back.
47.
47.
48,
48.
46.
46.
74,
74.
77,
77.
87.
87. All right. Sir, we'll jump forward to you.
52.
52.
79.
79.
82.
82.
81,
81.
24,
24. Pam at the back.
40,
40. All right, we're going to jump to the front over here. Gary.
26.
26.
1,
1.
7,
7.
6,
6.
4,
4.
49,
49.
50,
20,
23.
All right, let's start on the far side again.
34.
34.
33,
33.
38.
38.
37,
37.
114.
114.
61.
61.
60,
60. 42,
14,
14,
16.
16. Go ahead, Steve.
28.
28,
44.
44,
43,
43,
45.
45,
58,
58,
78,
78,
53,
53,
54,
54,
55.
55. All right, any other yes votes? All right. We'll move on to John Parrott.
I have a question, if I may.
Yes.
It seems like a majority of the people in the room have voted already. Do we need to do the final two? If no, can you get enough votes to surpass those two?
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
I wish we could save time. John Parrott is who we'll start with next. All right,
51,
51,
41,
41,
42.
42,
88.
88,
113,
113,
17,
17,
11,
11,
12,
12,
108,
108,
107,
107,
59.
59,
106.
106,
68.
oh, gotcha, 68 and 86, I think is what I heard. All right, gotcha both.
105,
105
69.
and 69,
103.
103,
72.
72. Any others? All right. And then the last one we'll have is Liz Hildebrand,
80.
80. Any others? All right. Okay. Give me just a second. All right, so we have a final vote. There were 27 votes for Sonny Garcia, 62 votes for David Stanzik, 18 votes for John Parrott, and 1 vote for Liz Hildebrand. All right, David Stanzik, if you'd please come forward. You've been elected as moderator by a majority vote. All right, I will now swear you in. You'll raise your right hand. Do you swear to perform the position of moderator of this special town meeting faithfully and impartially as required by law?
I do.
Thank you. Please take the chair. counting today, but.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. This is easily.
There you go.
No, I'm fine. Welcome, everyone. This is easily the most well-populated township meeting I've ever moderated. Before we begin tonight, I think it is important to address some procedural questions, as a special town meeting is unique under Illinois law. For one, everyone here has the right to participate, but in a way that is respectful and consistent with long-standing rules established by the township and under Illinois law. Balanced with the right to participate in this meeting is the duty of the moderator of the meeting to preserve order and decide all questions of order. Therefore, consistent with the practices of the township and provisions of Illinois law related to the conduct at a special town meeting, the following rules of order will govern tonight's meeting. 1. No party may speak until recognized and permitted to speak by the moderator. 2. Any party recognized to speak during the discussion after a motion and second may speak for no longer than 3 minutes, and the moderator reserves the right to limit repetitive comments, statements, or other remarks. 3. Defamatory or obscene comments and remarks will not be permitted. This includes epithets and threats of any kind. 4. Shouting, clapping, or any other noises are prohibited. No sign waving or other disruptive activity is allowed. Anyone who violates these rules will be warned to immediately discontinue their action at issue. Continuation or repetition of the violation after warning will constitute grounds for removal from the meeting. At that point, Madam Clerk, I think we're ready for item 4 on the agenda.
All right. This is the public policy vote. One of the things that I also wanted to make sure that we're clear is that there will be public comment later in the meeting, but there'll be 5 minutes of discussion time, which will be allowed for Caleb Steen, who brought forward this item, to speak, and then the electors will also have the opportunity to provide discussion. And I just say that because it gives you an opportunity, if you've seen like the public comment, for instance, is at the bottom of the agenda. If you ever attend, I know we're not at council, but sometimes it's ahead of time, and so they want that to be heard. So you get to participate in this discussion. And so anyway, we will have public comment later, but I wanted to point that out before we got started as an overview kind of procedure. So the item number 4 is the public policy vote. Shall the following advisory question of public policy be placed on the ballot for submission to voters in the city of Bloomington Township and in McLean County in the state of Illinois for November 5th, 24th election? It is, shall the United States federal government and subordinate divisions stop giving military funding to Israel, which currently costs taxpayers $3.8 billion a year, given Israel's global recognition as an apartheid regime, with a track record of human rights violations?
Madam Clerk, it's my understanding tonight's meeting was called for this agenda item as an advisory question of public policy. Before we proceed with this item, I wanted to address the advisory referendum, also known as the public question, and its process generally. Under Illinois law, 15 or more registered voters residing in the township may request an agenda item for consideration at a special town meeting by submitting a petition in writing. It is my understanding a petition was received requesting a special meeting on item 4, and that petition meets the legal requirements. Therefore, the township is required by law to have this meeting to discuss this request from those electors who petitioned it. Also consistent with Illinois law, this agenda item asks that a non-binding question be placed on the ballot for the November 5th, 2024 general election. The township code simply states proposed questions must be related to, quote, public policy, end quote. The code does not clarify or specify if they must relate to township business. Tonight, the electors will simply vote on whether or not the question should go on the ballot. A yes vote means you want this question on the ballot. A no vote means you do not want the question on the ballot. With that in mind, we'll proceed to item number 4. As moderator and consistent with state law, granting me the right to set and preserve rules of order, I feel it is appropriate for a spokesperson for the petitioners on this question to offer comments up to 5 minutes. After that person speaks and makes the motion, I'll look for a second. The motion is seconded. We will then have other people speak. It is my intention, consistent with what I've done in planning commission hearings, to alternate recognizing persons in favor of the resolution with those opposed to the resolution. That way we'll make sure we get fairness and everybody has an opportunity to express their views. As I indicated earlier, we want to give everybody an opportunity to speak on the matter, but at some point, some of the remarks may be repetitious, and if we get to the point where I ask you to self-police and not share further opinions if they've already, at the same point has already been made. At that point, I will ask for a representative petitioner to make a motion to put the matter on the ballot. Is someone to make that motion?
I'd like to make that motion.
I'll just second that.
All right, number 31 made the motion, and there's a second, number 112. All right. Does the proponent wish to make any comments up to 5 minutes?
Is that me?
Right here. Right here.
Oh no, I hate public speaking. Okay. I have something prepared, fortunately. Lowers the chance of me beefing myself. We are here because this referendum process is a valuable tool for direct democracy, where we are able to speak to one another instead of two officials. We believe this referendum is necessary as the voices of people decrying U.S.-backed human rights abuses are too often silenced, belittled, and repressed by every level of government. Referenda of this nature are an invaluable democratic way to measure Bloomington residents' perspectives on quite possibly the most significant issue of foreign policy today. With our nation's international influence and great collective resources, our government violates morality and international law. Through us, a crisis grows and far too many innocents suffer. We also believe that this referendum allows voters to further educate themselves as it brings to light such an important issue on the local level. Our government's actions are too often locked away from the public eye where we have no voice or recourse. Finally, the presence of truly so many people signals to our policymakers what matters to us. Will we stand by as our government perpetuates and allows abhorrent abuses and mass death, or will we speak against it? This matter should be voted on and subject to a democratic process. We, the people, should decide how our resources and influence are used. Our movement is rooted in the utmost concern for universal rights and respect for human decency. I'd like to thank everyone in support of this referendum for pushing our society, and through us, our government, in the right direction. I'm not going to take 5 minutes. That sounds too scary. I'm done.
Thank you. Would anyone like to speak in opposition to the motion? Yes, sir. Ask you to, when I call on you, if you just state your number so we can, and I'm nearsighted even with the glasses, so you're going to have to call out your number.
That's 17.
Thank you. You have 3 minutes.
I think this is foolish that we have to put that on the ballot. The United States has given Iran more aid than Ukraine and Israel. And we shouldn't turn our backs on Israel. Biden has stuck a knife in their back and twisted it. And they don't think Israel is smart enough to run their own war. but they know how to fight, and they know what they're doing. That they don't need our help. Israel doesn't need the U.S. help because God's on their side. But we give them money because it says if we bless Israel, God will bless us. If we don't, God will curse us. Israel doesn't occupy the land. They own it. And this probably wouldn't have happened if Biden would have sent in the Navy SEAL October 7th. Israel doesn't want to kill the people if they don't have to, but war is hell. And they're going to do what they need to do. And Biden, they want Israel destroyed, but as long as you back Israel, America will back Israel, we'll be in good. But if we cut off all ties to Israel, it's going to get dark in America. Things aren't going to be good. For the Christian who loves Israel, it will, but other than that, it's not going to be good. So I vote no.
Thank you. I'll recognize somebody in favor of the resolution. Back there in the corner.
29, could I just make a motion? Could I make a motion?
Come up here so we can all hear you, please.
Sorry. I was hoping to make a motion. Could I please address that to you? This is a government meeting. I was just going to ask that we refrain from religious rhetoric. This is a government meeting. Can we keep it sectarian?
I did not hear any loud words from the last speaker, so if I find something objectionable, I'll gavel it down, but I haven't heard any yet. So.
They're saying it's God on their side. This is a government meeting. I was hoping that we could, there's a separation of church and state.
If you want to rebut that statement, you're free to do so, and I think you're doing it now.
Okay. I'm just saying that, we shouldn't be using religious justification for a ballot measure. That was really all I was saying. But if that's fine.
Recognize somebody in favor of the resolution. I did not interpret the last speaker's remarks as a statement in favor of the resolution. I interpreted that as addressing the manner we were going about the hearing. So I'll recognize anyone in favor of the resolution.
27.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. My name is Shahryar Mufti. I'm here today to speak in support of the petition to place the advisory question on public policy on the November ballot for the Bloomington Township. We are all U.S. taxpayers. As an individual citizen, I must speak against the U.S. government's policy to provide military funding to a country that is at war in a highly populated civilian area. While this is just an advisory question, and this body nor the Bloomington Township citizens can influence U.S. government policy through this direct action, I firmly believe that local governments are the bedrock of this nation. I would like all U.S. citizens and registered voters in Bloomington Township to have an opportunity to say yes or no to this advisory question. In the name of God, for the love of peace, and in the memory of the thousands of innocent adults, women, and children dead on both sides, slaughtered primarily by U.S.-provided military weapons, in violation of many of our own laws of the United States of America, I strongly urge all those in attendance to allow this advisory question on the ballot. If you vote to put this question on the ballot, you will be allowing the opportunity for the citizens of Bloomington Township to ask a question. You may choose to answer however you wish at the election, but let us ask the question. That's the least you can do as an individual citizen. Give the voice to the thousands of innocent lives lost directly due to U.S. taxpayer dollars. If you choose not to put the question on the ballot, ask yourself deeply why. We cannot solve all the ills of this world, but here is a simple, low-cost, direct, and clear opportunity in front of you. Vote in favor of the petition. Thank you.
Thank you. I recognize someone in opposition. Yes, ma'am.
24.
Hello, my name is Meryl Brown. I'm a business owner, parent in McLean County, and a Jewish resident in Bloomington. I have come to voice my dissatisfaction and vote against this question, even the idea of placing it. I come to you with information and truth, negating many of the ideas of the citizens who have brought you this petition. The piece of land that Israel sits on was a sovereign Jewish state over 3,000 years ago, referenced in the Old Testament, New Testament, and the Quran, and corroborated by carbon-dated archaeological findings and non-religious writings of that era. Thank you, history and Noah Tishby. Since the date of Israel, the state, birth, granted by the UN in 1947, it has been a place that guarantees equal rights of all of its citizens. It is home to 9.9 million people, 20% Arab Muslim. Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East and has been the scapegoat of everyone's problems since before it was established. The problem isn't Israel. The ideas behind this question being placed on the ballot have been nothing short of following propaganda that has been perpetuated in the media and within our community since and even before October 7th. The money the U.S. government gives to Israel supports the military and the Iron Dome. The Iron Dome, a complete defense system to protect all of the inhabitants of Israel, regardless of beliefs. The Israeli Defense Force is exactly that. It defends its citizens. On October 7th, Hamas, a recognized terrorist organization funded and run through the Islamic Jihad, who also holds hands with Hezbollah, infiltrated, murdered, burned, and kidnapped innocent citizens. Any country has a right to defend itself and bring their people home. In this conflict, Israel has done a multitude of things to limit civilian casualties, and as a result, the combatant-to-citizen ratio is 1-to-1, the lowest of any war in this region. By adding this question to the ballot, it tells your Jewish citizens, us, that we don't have a right to a homeland, and we are no longer supported by this government. I am pro-Israel and pro-Palestine. Both should and can exist. The question on this ballot does nothing to bring peace to the Middle East and only perpetuates the Islamic Jihad plans of clearing out Israel and the United States' complicity in it. Thank you. I vote against.
All right, I will now recognize someone in favor of the resolution. Yes, sir.
109? Hello, everyone. I just introduced 109. That's all good, right? No name? Awesome. Thank you. So, I just want to speak in support of this resolution. Not to repeat, but just to reiterate that this is a resolution for the November ballot. The arguments made now can be made from today until November, whether for or against. This is about getting a feel of the Bloomington area. And as everyone here may notice, we are of at least 109 people, of a town, of a city, of nearly 80,000, I think more than 80,000. To allow the question to die here is an affront to our democracy, the values that we suppose we believe in, and discourages public input in a country where our public engagement is already historically low for peer nations. coming general election, nearly 60, maybe 70% of people vote on a good year. On a midterm year, that drops to nearly 50, 40. For locals, that drops to 10. To not allow this is a disservice to all of them, where the most amount of U.S. citizens vote, and should be presented with this question. Whatever one may think about what is happening is irregardless. The question must be presented and must be asked. We already know that nearly 60% of voters disagree with the violence that is happening, to one extent or the other. And so we should put this question to ensure they are more than just polling numbers, which are often selected, fabricated, picked, so on, however, choose the word you may like, and to a direct vote. And lastly, I just want to address some claims just made previously that all information does not come straight from BB's mouth, that we must look broader than that. We must take in all information that's presented to us. And it has been shown that this is an ethnic cleansing, that this is violence perpetrated against civilians. It is not at a 1-to-1 ratio. And that we must stand up as citizens, as good U.S. people, Americans, however you want to identify as, and say enough is enough. Violence is not great. We are the number one perpetrators of violence, and we should consider turning around and pushing for peace. Thank you.
Okay, recognize someone in opposition to the resolution. Yes, sir.
Chairman, I would like to make a motion that we vote this up or down.
I would entertain that motion after we've had, everybody's pretty much had their ability to speak.
Can we vote on the motion that I'm making?
No.
16, I'd like to motion a question to all the voters here. On what kind of timeline did we actually hear about this meeting? Because today was the first day that I actually heard about it, about two hours prior to the meeting. And I think a lot of people in here would know that.
Okay, let me make one. The meeting is held, the state of Illinois has an Open Meetings Act. The city of Bloomington Township follows all the requirements of the Open Meetings Act. That does not mean that the township has an obligation to go out and publicize its meetings. So I'm sorry for your short notice, but
I'm just saying, I think there would actually be a lot more people here if they had noticed, because a lot of us have kids, a lot of us have jobs. We're here sacrificing our time, so that's just what I wanted to say.
I appreciate everyone who is devoting their time to come down here and make their opinion known, but we can't go beyond what the law requires as far as Open Meetings Act, and we've done that. So I'll recognize someone in opposition to the resolution.
I saw it advertised in the newspaper last Tuesday. So it's been public since, at least since.
Sir, you want to speak in opposition?
Yes.
Your number?
114.
So my name is Matt Sanders, longtime Bloomington resident. I've heard the question asked from a few people now who are proponents who would say, why don't we just let this on the ballot? Why not let democracy run its course and see what people think? And of course, we could ask that about any number of issues that might be on the ballot. There's an almost infinite number of issues that we might put before the voters to try to get their thoughts on any number of things. Part of why I'm against putting this issue on the ballot is any issue we do put on the ballot reflects something about our community. And this ballot is based upon a false premise. As I read it last night when I first heard about it, it refers to Israel as a globally recognized apartheid regime. And I don't think it's globally recognized as an apartheid regime because it's not. at all, factually, an apartheid regime. As many of you probably know, apartheid is an Afrikaans word. That's the Dutch in South Africa who created a formal system of racial separation. And if anyone here can tell me another country in the Middle East that has more pluralism and diversity than Israel does, I'd love to hear it. If anybody here can tell me of another country in the Middle East without any human rights violations, I would love to hear it. And so you might wonder why a particular country is being singled out. Yes, I recognize there's a lot of violence, but we wouldn't be here this evening if it weren't for an attack, a vicious attack on October 7th with enormous intentional civilian casualties. Last thought, I heard somebody over my shoulder, if you wonder what some of this might be about, just a few moments ago, after a previous speaker, say, all Zionists know how to do is lie. And I can't help but wonder if Zionist is maybe just meant to be a polite public word for Jew.
That's hearsay.
That's a bold, uneducated statement.
All right, I'll recognize someone in opposition, in favor of the resolution.
Have the decency to.
That's all right.
31. Good evening. I want to thank everybody for attending today. I know it was short notice, but this is our democracy. This is how democracy works. I want to address some of the issues that have been put forward about the funding of the genocide machine that is happening in Gaza right now. Those tax dollars could be better served here in America. Those tax dollars could be better served for our roads, for our schools, for our health care. Our government is currently being run by a foreign lobby entity that has purchased every single one of our elected officials in Washington. And we need to send a message to Washington that that is not American. That is not the way we operate. We want to look out for our citizens first, make sure that our children are being taken care of. For those that are saying that we're anti-Semitic and that anti-Zionist equals anti-Semitism, that is false. Listen to your children from the mouth of babes. They are being arrested. They are being beaten up by the state because they recognize that Israel is an apartheid state. It is recognized by the UN. The only reason that it's maybe not global is because Israel and the United States has a veto vote. We are funding the military-industrial complex on the backs of women and children, and that must stop. Please give us the opportunity for this community to voice their opinion on whether or not they want to continue murdering innocent children and women, or if we want to stop that. So please allow this question to be allowed on the ballot. Thank you.
Stop sending money to pregnant.
Recognize someone in opposition to the resolution. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you show us your number?
I don't have a number,
Oh, sorry.
but I was told that anyone here can participate.
Point of order.
This is easier for electors. Public comment, you can speak, yeah.
Okay, so I can speak public comment, but not.
Correct.
After this is disposed of, yes. Yes, ma'am.
65 opposed. It would have been okay to put this on the ballot if you had included all the wars that this United States are in, including Ukraine, Iran, and all the other places that the military is in. We should bring these people back home and support our vets and homeless people in this country versus all of these other wars. You put Israel specifically on here, which makes it an issue. Thank you.
I'll recognize someone in favor of the resolution. Anyone else in favor? Yes, sir. Your number, please.
39. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. I'm not going to repeat a lot of things that's already been said. I'm just going to tell you guys that I'm here in support of the resolution, more from a symbolic gesture than anything. At the end of the day, nothing is going to change. We all know the U.S. government is bought and ran by Israel. That is no more evident than this past Friday when the UN nation had a vote on whether to recognize Palestine as being eligible to be a member of the UN. The vast majority of the civilized world voted in favor. 9 countries voted against the measure. One of those countries is the United States. Ask yourself why. At the end of the day, nothing is going to change. We know we're going to continue bombing these people. None of us in this room is going to solve what's happening in the Middle East. The question you should ask yourself as you go to speak tonight is whether we should continue bombing these people, creating a generation of orphans that's going to grow up and have hate in their heart and continue to perpetuate this cycle of hate. Or are we going to say no more? We are not doing this anymore. Thank you.
I'll recognize anyone in opposition to the resolution. Sir, your number, please.
66. My name is Joe Walden, resident of Bloomington. I have tried to be kind of cut through this a little bit because some other people obviously were looking over my shoulder as I wrote this. Let's take a quick trip through history. The area of Palestine is an area. It's not a state. It's not a people. It is a state that was actually settled by Abraham and the 12 tribes of Israel in 10 BC. Its capital is Jerusalem. It has faced persecution ever since the day that Abraham and the tribes settled there. Their homeland has been taken from them many times and occupied by many countries and has been in a constant state of defensive war since their founding. Fast forward, Holocaust. 6 million Jews killed. It was recognized that there was a need to actually have a stated homeland for the people of Israel. 1947, the UN proposed a 2-state solution, separate Jewish and Arab state. Jews accepted, the Arabs rejected. On May 14, 1948, the state of Israel was established. On May the 15th, and that was recognized by countries such as the United States, Soviet Union, European Union, and others. On May the 15th, 24 hours later, the Arab nations declared war on Israel. So since that date in modern history, Israel has been on the defense. Fast forward. Hamas was founded in 1987 and immediately began attacking Israel. They have been designated a terrorist organization. They have rejected Israel's right to exist. And as a side note, they also chant and believe in death to America. And as I look at every one of you around here, yes, they will kill you and your children. They approve of violence against civilians. Ever since 1987, backed by money from Iran and other countries, they have been bombing and sending rockets into Israel. As I might add, killing Israelis. Up until October 6th, well, let me back up just a second. This one lady said there are Arabs who reside in Israel, 20% of that population. They have the right to vote, and they are members of the Knesset, voting members. On October 6th, there was peaceful coexistence. On October 7th, Hamas broke that by an unprovoked attack. Now let's talk about numbers killed, and let's talk about this. On that day, and that day alone, 3,000 rockets, 3,000 terrorists attacked Israel. They killed 1,139 people, 695 Israeli citizens, 71 foreigners, and 373 IDF soldiers.
they have taken or took 250 hostages. I think over 110 are still there, many of them Americans. So recognize that. Now, let's talk about genocide. It has been stated and in the news, and Hamas has not said no, that their mission was a genocidal massacre. Yes.
Your 3 minutes are up.
Okay, thank you.
I'll recognize anyone in favor of the resolution. Anyone else in favor? In back. Your number, please.
Number 3.
Hi, my name is Matt Tosco. I'm a member of the local Bloomington Normal Club of the Communist Party USA. Before I get right into what I wanted to say this evening, I'd first like to say that my grandfather was in World War II. I've grown up, like many of us, hearing the horror stories about the Holocaust, seeing the images, just how horrible that was. When we say never again, we mean never again for everyone. We mean never again by anyone. But never again, is, whichever way you see it, is not what we're here to discuss or vote on tonight. What we're here to discuss or vote on is a matter of democracy. Whether or not the people of Bloomington should be able to have this question on the ballot and make up their own minds. It seems to me that if you're against that, the only reason to be against that other than some abstract whatever would be if you're afraid your side's going to lose. And that just amounts to pure cowardice if you really want to look at it that way. This is a hot button issue that whether or not it gets on the ballot is going to be decided by people who are already registered voters, by people who I'm assuming show up to vote. But this is the kind of issue that no matter which side you're on, can be the kind of thing that brings more people to the polls, that gets more non-voters interested in taking part in the democratic process, whether you're for or against this particular language. And I think that to not have this on the ballot, to have this on the ballot would be a victory for democracy itself in Bloomington. And I think people need to understand why we're here, what it is we're voting on. We're not hashing out, all the violence and the horribleness in the Middle East. No, we're talking about allowing a question on the ballot. Very much like a lot of us came together as unlikely allies to try and get a question on the ballot in Normal about breaking the town council up into individual wards. The city pulled and grasped at every straw to keep that question from the voters. And I'd hate to see that happen tonight. In a true democracy, these questions should be asked, and to stand in the way of that is ultimately cowardice. Thank you.
I'll recognize the speaker in opposition of the resolution.
I've made a couple of visits to Israel, once about 1975, another one about 2000. When I went to Israel, first time as a tourist, second time as working on an archaeology dig in the West Bank. What I found there was that people in the West Bank like to work. And at that time, Israel was allowing people in the West Bank to be able to have jobs, come into Israel and work for the day, and then go back out through security checkpoints and go home again. And the Arabs were the leaders in the Gaza Strip. have received a lot of money. They put it into building tunnels. They didn't put it into helping the people of Gaza. I've just found, I've been around, I listened to news reports on the 67 war, the 73 war, all the times that Israel's been attacked by Arab-supported units from Lebanon. Hezbollah, remember the time when 300 Marines got killed in Beirut? There's been many deaths in America because of violence over there. And I'm opposed to this because I think it's on the false premise that Israel is an apartheid state. Thank you. All right, no applause. Remember, no applause.
I recognize someone in favor of the resolution.
Just to be clear, the overwhelming majority of Zionists are not Jewish, so if you hear the word Zionist and you think Jew, that's incredibly anti-Semitic. It's very disgusting. But we're told that when someone tells us something about themselves, we should believe them. So what do statements by top Israeli officials say about how Israel self-identifies? Former Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin, I don't think it's possible to contain over the long term, if we don't want to get to apartheid, 1.5 million more Arabs inside a Jewish state. Attorney General of Israel, Michael Ben Yair, we established an apartheid regime in the occupied territories immediately following their capture. That oppressive regime exists to this day. Former Israeli Environmental Minister Sarid, what acts like apartheid, is run like apartheid, and harasses like apartheid, is not a duck, it's apartheid. Former Prime Minister Ehud Barak, if this bloc of millions of Palestinians cannot vote, that will be an apartheid state. Former Prime Minister Ehud Olmert, if the day comes when the two-state solution collapses and we face a South African-style struggle for equal voting rights, then as soon as that happens, the state of Israel is finished. Former Israeli ambassador to South Africa, Alon Liel, in the situation that exists today, until a Palestinian state is created, we are actually one state. This joint state is an apartheid state. Amos Shaka, publisher of the Israeli newspaper Haaretz, the product of Zionism, the state of Israel, is not a Jewish and democratic state, but instead has become an apartheid state, plain and simple. Yehudit Kar, former Israeli Deputy Attorney General, the time has come to call a spade a spade. An apartheid regime is the name given in internal law by the international community to a regime of the type that Israel is maintaining in the occupied states. Amos Goldberg, leading professor of the Holocaust at Hebrew University in Jerusalem. Accusing Israel of apartheid is not anti-Semitic, it describes reality. The whole facts and logic thing. In 2018, Israel passed a nation-state law saying the right to exercise national self-determination in the state of Israel is unique to the Jewish people. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said in 2019, Israel is not a nation of all its citizens. According to the nation-state law we passed, Israel is the nation-state law of the Jewish people and not anybody else. In our epistemological age of affirming the lived experience of individuals, of listening and supporting how people self-identify, it follows that we must listen and affirm Israel's truth, i.e. how Israel self-identifies. Israel, by its own leaders' words, self-identifies as an apartheid state.
I recognize someone in opposition to the resolution. Anyone else in opposition? Yes, sir.
Six.
Come on up, man.
I have a very short sentence. Send the hostages home and we'll talk about it.
Someone in favor of the resolution? Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, Jim.
Number, please.
22. I'm assuming it's this one, yeah. Hi everybody, my name is Jenna Al-Shaba.
18 years old, and this is my first year that I can actually be doing this kind of thing and voting. I wanted to come up here tonight and tell you guys that as a Palestinian myself, we need to be aware that, like what was said earlier, your tax dollars, instead of funding things like affordable housing and clean water and healthcare, renewable energy, they're funding displacement. As we speak, we're living through a live genocide, and I would appreciate it if nobody would speak over me during this time. Everybody that's in here that I'm associated with and that I know is kind of here because about 4 years ago I started protesting in town. And I run Free Palestine Bono, and I am the organizer of that. It's honestly really hard for me to come up here and speak in front of you all, but I know that I had to do that because otherwise, when am I going to get the chance to speak in front of you guys again? To see my people being killed every single day at a drastic rate is horrifying. And if you stand for human rights in general, you cannot stand for them unless you also stand for the Palestinian rights and the Palestinian people. I've lived here my entire life. I am truly, I'm American, but I do live in guilt. I come from a strong force of people who are challenged every single day with life or death. And while I'm grateful for my life, I can't help but think about the things that the Palestinians my age face every single day. Whether it's finding their dead family members or realizing that their bloodlines have been wiped from existence. You cannot claim to be a democratic government without giving us the chance to have this on the ballot to vote on. You need to give your people a chance to take their stance. Thank you.
I'll recognize someone in opposition to the resolution. Anyone else in opposition?
All the questions.
40? First of all, I find the wording of the resolution is offensive because it is aimed at one people, and that's Israel. As far as genocide, the definition of genocide is the complete and total destruction of an ethnic or racial group. That's what is aimed at the Jews. You look at Hamas, their stated goal is not only to destroy the nation, but to kill the Jews. As far as what Israel is doing, they're defending their nation, they're defending their lives. If Hamas did not embed its military in the civilian population, I'm pretty sure the civilian death toll would be a lot lower than what it is now. As far as Israel, Jews being considered colonizers, never mind religious texts, just look at recorded history back to the Romans and the Greeks. Palestine was the home of the Hebrews. It was the Jewish land. Throughout history, the Jews have been forced out of Palestine, out of Israel, out of their ancestral territory by one group after another. If that happened to any other ethnic or racial group, we call it ethnic cleansing. But we don't say that when it applies to the Jews or the Israelis, however you want to say it. You have something to say? Good. I think that what Israel is doing, they're showing as much restraint as they can, given the circumstances. And as far as if you really want to have an impact on this issue or any issue, vote in the general elections, research the candidates that are running, how they stand on the issues, vote for representatives, senators, people who really can have an effect on whatever issue that you're concerned about.
Thank you. I'm seeing a dwindling number of cards come up, what I'll do is I'm inclined to close the hearing. If anybody has any urgent desire to address us, I'll recognize one on either side. Otherwise, I think it's time to call for the question. All right. I think we're at the point where we've exhausted, or everybody's pretty much given an opportunity to express their views. And at this point, I think we'll.
Can I talk?
Public comment, sir,
Yes.
after the vote.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we'll now conduct a vote on the proposition. All those in favor of adopting this resolution, please stand and hold up your cards and we'll take the numbers down. Yeah, one more time. Yes is to put this on the ballot. So everybody standing up, holding up cards now should be in favor of putting this on the ballot.
All right, we'll start up front, 112. And go ahead and sit down once I call your number. 9. 31. And we'll start on the front end. 27. 13. 10. 8.
5.
5. 2.
39.
39.
18.
18.
19.
19. 62.
96.
96.
15.
15.
21.
21.
35.
35.
36.
36.
25.
25.
63.
63.
22.
22.
109.
109.
29.
29.
30.
30.
3.
3.
85.
85.
89.
89.
83.
83. Any others voting yes for it to go on the ballot?
Okay, like those voting no, meaning to not put this on the ballot, you stand up and hold up your cards.
All right, we're going to start up front. 94.
71.
71.
70.
70.
65.
65.
72.
72.
68.
68.
69.
69. 95. And we'll start at like closest to the door.
118.
118.
119.
119. 115.
116.
116.
26.
26.
1.
1.
7.
7.
6.
6.
4.
4.
49.
49.
50.
50.
20.
20.
23.
23. Go to the back.
34.
34. 33.
38.
38.
37.
37.
114.
114.
61.
61.
60.
60.
32.
32.
14.
14.
16.
16. Start with you, ma'am, in the black jacket.
78.
78.
58.
58.
45.
45.
43.
43.
44.
44.
28.
28. Let's jump back up here to, let's go to the side. Over here.
Their vote back here.
I'm still gonna, I'm gonna get to everybody, I promise. I was just trying to keep myself organized. 91, 90, 100, 99, 101, 97, 98, 75, 76,
52.
52,
79.
79,
93,
93,
82.
82, 81, 117,
24,
24,
42.
42,
41,
41,
51,
51,
73.
73,
111,
111,
102,
102,
104,
104,
Tell you one already.
110,
64.
64,
66.
66,
92.
92,
67.
67,
47.
47,
48,
48,
46.
46,
74,
74,
77,
77,
87.
87,
105,
105,
86,
86,
88.
88,
113.
113,
17.
17,
11,
11,
12.
12,
103,
say 80.
80.
Thank you.
103,
103,
108,
108,
107,
107,
106.
106,
59,
59,
40,
40. All right, jump back over here.
55.
55,
54,
54,
53,
53. Anyone who does not have their number called? All right. Great, and so we had 28 yes votes and 88 no votes.
The next item on the agenda is item number 5, which we'll call in a moment. Before that, however, I want to thank all of you for coming on here tonight and
I commend all of you for the orderly discussion that you conducted. Thank you very much.
Great, and so next we'll move forward. If you are departing, if you could please be quiet as you leave. We are going to continue to finish out the meeting. We'll move forward with public comment. And just a reminder, if you don't want to speak when your name is called, you'll have 3 minutes to speak. But if you do not want to speak, you can just let us know and you can go ahead and step away. You are welcome to speak a public comment even if you are not an elector. All right, so the first person I have on my list is Matthew Tosco.
I actually gave my comment as my...
Perfect, yeah, and that's perfect. I think a lot of people might be that way. Thank you very much. All right, next on the list is Shior Mufti. I think he also left. All right. Then I have Christopher Ward. Okay. Evie Farwell.
I would like to speak.
Okay, yes, please come forward. And there are, just so everyone is aware, there are exits on both sides of the room as well, and there's a second elevator on this side of the building too, so if you don't want to wait for the one there.
Okay, is this the right microphone?
Yes, you are at the right microphone, you can go ahead.
Okay, so hi, I am a student at ISU, and I have been a vocal advocate of Students for Justice in Palestine for months now, and seeing the results of this referendum truly shocks me to my core. There is an ongoing genocide occurring in Palestine. 35,000 civilians have been slain, 14,000 of which have been children. Only 700 civilians were killed on October 7th. While that is shameful, and I condemn that, over 20 times the amount of civilian casualties on October 7th have been made up for in children by the IDF. It is shameful that anybody would vote to cast down this even being put up to a vote on the ballot. This wasn't even the vote on the ballot. This is the vote to have the vote on the ballot. A vote against it is entirely undemocratic. We aren't even allowed to have our voices heard. This has been disgusting and shameful, and I hope you all live to see the error of your ways.
Thank you. Next we have Lane Sullivan. Lane Sullivan. All right, I'm going to just keep rolling on the list then. Meryl Brown. Okay, thank you. Kirk Allen.
Yes.
Please come forward.
My name is Kirk Allen. I'm the co-founder of the Aiken County Watchdogs and American Watchdogs. We're a local government accountability organization. This body of people, of citizens, stood before this meeting and said the Pledge of Allegiance. One nation under God, indivisible. These type of things proposed for this ballot creates division because it's not a function of township government. It's very clear what the township can and can't do, and there's nothing related to this ballot measure that the township has any power to influence. I can't count how many times I heard people talk about democracy, and I'll share a brief story. Every year I'm asked to come over to EIU to their business ethics class, and we do a short presentation on government ethics. And I asked a class of juniors, how many in this room remember Benjamin Franklin was asked after the signing of our Constitution? And 2 juniors in the front row said, who's Benjamin Franklin?
That's what we need to fund our schools.
In that process, I continued and educated them who they were. We established this country as a constitutional republic. Ben Franklin said it's a constitutional republic if you can keep it. We have failed our society because we no longer teach what it takes to keep our republic. We are not a democracy. Please learn your history of this country. Thank you.
All right, next up we have Dave Murray.
He left.
Okay, and then Serena Fish.
No, thank you, I already spoke.
Okay, Gary Lambert. All right, William Mullen. Caleb C.
Well, I mean, I can speak again, but I already spoke.
You don't have to, it's up to you.
I'm not against it. I'm not against it.
Come on, David.
Good practice. The guy that didn't want to speak at all.
No, I did not want to speak. It is smaller. It's a little less intimidating the second time around. Yeah, no, I hate public speaking. It's terrifying. Too many people. I did kind of want to get on the democracy thing, because I did hear a number of people in the audience say that we are not a democracy, we are a republic. And dividing those two terms, saying they are inherently separate, is incorrect. Democracy is very oftentimes the adjective to the noun of the republic. Republic defines what form of government we have. That we have elected representatives to speak for us as truly gathering 300 million people, 350 million people in a room to decide things amongst each other is a little unwieldy. Democracy defines how those representatives are selected. We elect our representatives. That is the democracy in the democratic republic. We're not a democracy, we're not a republic, we're both. We're not either inseparate. If I'm coming up with other things to say on the fly, very briefly, I think the accusation that this is anti-Semitic is a little, bit of a thought-terminating cliche. I'm not anti-Semitic. Most of the people who spoke aren't anti-Semitic. There are going to be people that are bigoted on any particular issue, particularly if they're violently in favor of military action in the Middle East. I would find a lot of that action and the support for it to be bigoted in nature. I'm not against Jewish people. I love Jewish people. I also love Palestinian people. If Hamas was actively conducting a genocide against Israelis, guess what sort of petition I would have filed? Would have filed that.
There we go.
They're not. They want to. They're not actively conducting the genocide.
I just want to know who else is actively creating a dialogue around this.
Hi guys, so just a point of order, if we'll just stay together. Thank you for your public comment. You're forfeiting your time, remaining time?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Next on my list is Herman Brandow.
We felt together.
I was going to say that I didn't want to say anything, but I have to react to that. My mother and my uncle came from Germany, and they went to Israel for a couple of years, and then came to the United States. The rest of my family was annihilated in the Holocaust. And so when I hear some of these comments about what Israel is doing to protect itself and saying that that's like a Holocaust, and there was another Holocaust. I mean, Hamas, that was the second biggest Holocaust that we had. So it's very difficult, it's very difficult to do a war, and everyone hates to see civilians die. It happens in war, but certainly Israel is not trying to kill people. It's trying to figure out a way to protect itself, and that's very difficult in a war. So I just want you to know that we all hope that we'll have peace. And certainly the United States is trying to find a way to bring peace in the Middle East, and it's very difficult to do. But when you have people like Hamas who put tunnels and put their own civilians, you know, on top of the tunnels, and actually make it so that if you try to go after the people who annihilated your people and hold hostages, that you're going to kill some of their own people. It's a horrendous situation, and we hope we can find a solution to it that breaks everyone's heart.
Does it? It does. Okay. Next, we have Joe Baldwin. Okay. You do.
More history.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
This won't take three. Let's just talk genocide. Israel has tried to live in a state of peace since their existence in made a state in 1948. The Arabs have declared war one day after, and they continue that war. That is genocide. When Hamas, when the people, and they are Arabs, okay? They're an Arab group, and their Arab neighbors don't even recognize them. They don't even want them in their country. They have borders against them.
Does that mean it's justified?
Well, when your own groups don't want you to be part of them,
Please make
that
sure that we're
says,
sticking,
that says-
allowing him to say what he
yeah,
wants to say.
I'll direct my comments to you.
One person has the floor at the time.
What's that?
You're saying something now.
He said one person has the floor at the time.
It's not his time.
So let me try to continue. So anyhow, their own people don't even want them residing with them because of the fact they're a terrorist group. They have been given billions of dollars by the United States and other countries to better themselves. And instead of what they've done, they've dug up their water pipes to make rockets. They have taken food, starved their own people in order to feed their soldiers, the Hamas soldiers. They are being funded by Iranian regimes and terrorist regimes around the world. They've been named a terrorist organization. They are willing to destroy their own to destroy Israel. So for the United States to not give them, now we voted no, but for the United States to not give Israel support would be a travesty in order to defend themselves against a group of people who absolutely want their destruction, annihilation, down to the last person. Even those people who would be living in the United States. So when you think of death to Gazan, if you want Hamas children, what about the Israeli children who have to stand at a bus stop in a bomb shelter? They can't even go outside and play for fear of a rocket coming down on top of your head.
All right, next up, Josh Overmeyer. Let's see, Jana Al-Shaba, would you like to speak again?
I don't see any point to argue with people in their face. I like to say things very clearly and very maturely because I am at the point in my life where I don't need to argue like a child. Straight up and said, just because this vote did not go the way that I wanted it to and my allies did, does not mean this is the last time that we will fight for justice for my people. Yeah, my people. Yeah, that's my people, the Palestinian people. That's my heritage. When my grandfather was 3 years old, he got his land taken with his whole family. He had to run away with his entire family to that was the other one? To the other, or took their entire land, and my grandfather was almost left over there because of the chaos. If his mother had not gone back for the sewing machine because of their clothes being torn up from the chaos that was going on, and found him crying behind a rock at 3 years old, I would not be standing in here in front of you today. Now, I'm an active citizen in my community. I care about this community. I grew up here. I live here. I'm going to graduate from Bloomington High School on the 26th. This is my senior week that I'm sacrificing to come here and tell the people to wake up and open their eyes. That's not fair. It's not fair to those people to not say anything. And it doesn't matter that I'm sacrificing my time. What matters is that you're listening to me and you're hearing what I'm saying, and that you cannot keep your eyes off of the Palestinian people and let them die every single day. Thank you.
Next up, we have Chad Burke.
Release the hostages.
Oh my God. I'd love to hear yourselves talk. I don't even know why you're still talking.
Because you're still here.
Please be respectful, Chad. It's your turn.
Thank you.
You guys have one. You too. Thanks. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry about that. I closed what I needed. Let's find it now. I'm not going to waste everyone's time. I was going to read what I wrote about my grandfather pre-World War II. He helped liberate a concentration camp, and it's a long, drawn-out process, but we're all tired. And I really am very, very proud of everyone that showed up tonight in this community. And the courage it took some of you to do that, to stand up and vote against this resolution. I know it took a lot of courage for some people to be here and do this, but there's a reason. There's a presence in this room tonight that was with us. It's very important. I've been passionate about this topic because of my grandfather and what he went through and the pictures he brought home and the stories he told during what he went through and saw while liberating that concentration camp in World War II. And maybe one day I could share that with you when we have more time, but I know everyone's tired and wants to get home. But the evil that happened then, before, and now cannot continue and be rooted here. And this is where it begins, with things that are happening on the college campuses, and it must be stopped with this action that we did tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we have Nazir Glam. Okay. And then Grant Walsh.
Karina said it best.
All right. And last on the list is Benjamin Edwards. All right. Does everyone have
If it's on your list, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. A motion, give me a number, somebody.
23.
6.
23, and a second?
6.
6.
Highest bidder wins.
Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you all.
There was no opposed.
Thank you for your